So Fergie is preparing to go nuclear, to drop the bomb that for a long time she has resisted as she grifts for money from whoever is likely to give her a handout. But all of a sudden, as she is completely marginalised, both by the business community, the entertainment community, and the British royal family, she knows the way for the big payday is a Prince Harry-style autobiography. A $20 million advance, like Harry received, is what she wants. And the people who are most terrified about this are Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Because it is Fergie, of course, who could reveal all about what really went on with this couple and the British royal family and Andrew behind the scenes. So I need you to do something for me right now. It is free, it is easy, it is simple. Just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That's because over 50% of you watching this video haven't done that yet. And it is the best way to support Outspoken. So, Tash, Fergie, desperate, dateless, needing a massive payday. She needs it. She needs the cash. She thinks it's already too late for her daughters because William is slowly marginalizing them. This book would be a sensation. For a normal person, it would obviously provide ample money for the rest of their times. But the way that this woman spends money, maybe not. But why do you think Harry and Meghan are specifically so worried about what Fergie could blow the whistle on in regards to them?
I mean, there's a bit of me that thinks, I still think Fergie might be loyal to the royal family. She very much was to Queen Elizabeth II. You know, she ended up with her dogs after her passing. So it depends which way she's going to go with it. I think she's got a lot of anger towards Charles and William, but then she will know that if she does attack the royals in this book, like what Harry did, it will be the final death blow, because there are things, they are a family at the end of the day, and they might still get allowances or privileges away from, the public's eye. She might still get invited to the odd family party under radar, but this will be the final death blow, not just for her, but for her daughters, but then also her grandchildren. But when it comes to Harry and Meghan, well, they haven't been particularly nice to anybody. They were cruel to the Queen. So any sort of mention of their cruelty and the behaviours that Meghan got up to and how she treated people when she joined the royal family, that could be a very unwelcome blow to them. But I mean, their reputation's down in the toilet as it is. I mean, I'm not sure how far Fergie would go. Perhaps Meghan and Andrew have crossed paths. I mean, it's something that I'm not sure will even come to light. I mean, it's highly suspicious given the circles that Andrew and Meghan have obviously floated in. We have photographic evidence of Meghan hanging around with friends of, who Andrew did, is the Epstein circle. But I don't know. I mean,
and David Boies, who was Virginia Giuffre's attorney, wanted Meghan Markle to give evidence in the civil trial, saying that there were things about Andrew that she knew.
Yeah, that's true. And that is further confirmation that I believe that Andrew and Meghan have crossed paths. Meghan was friends and going on holidays with Epstein's girlfriend. There's no way that you can't tell me Meghan wouldn't have got an invite through some of her friends to attend the big lavish parties that Epstein was known for throwing, with lots of girls, some professionals, some not, some models, some D-list cable TV actresses desperate for fame. So there is a good chance that Meghan does know something about Andrew, because she never said anything. Harry never said anything with all of their attacks. And it makes you think, why? Why did they protect Andrew? And it might be because Andrew could have fired back and said that he does, in fact, know Meghan. It could be a real tit for tat moment for them.
Yeah, indeed. And the other thing is, Tash, they know a lot about how Prince Harry and Meghan Markle behaved during their time in the British royal family. Because even though Harry and Meghan are now trying to distance themselves from the Yorks, they were closest to the Yorks out of anyone, because they loved going around to the Yorks and being able to bitch about William and Catherine and sort of act as if they were like on the outer of the family together. And it was very telling. Everyone sort of says, oh, well, Harry did talk about Andrew and Spare. Honestly, it was one paragraph. And it was one paragraph, Tash, that was only included because Harry was trying to moan about why he had his security taken away and Andrew didn't. It wasn't anything actually about wanting to expose Andrew. The Yorks have always been protected by Harry and Meghan, but I think the gloves are about to come off.
If Fergie wants a sensational book that is going to fly off of the shelves, one thing that will guarantee it is outing Harry and Meghan for anything. We all know that they behaved badly. We all know that they treated staff badly. We all know that Meghan definitely bullied everybody and anybody that she could, whether it be the Queen's chefs, the gardeners, Catherine and William's nanny, the Queen's dresser. I mean, Meghan really was a force when she joined that family of just being terrible to everyone. And Fergie could, in fact, mention that. As I said, Fergie is loyal to Queen Elizabeth II, and I don't think that will change in the book. And Meghan obviously was terrible to her after everything that she gave them. So for that now to come out, because what it will do with Fergie saying that perhaps, mention of Meghan's behavior, it will again show that Harry and Meghan have lied. Harry and Meghan have lied that they said it was a smear campaign. Everybody knows, but to have someone from the royal family in that inner sanctum finally come out and confirm what we all know will be I don't know how many more nails in the coffins that those two can really deal with at the moment. But it would definitely damage them further, I believe.
Yeah, indeed. Now, Tom Sykes has been on the hunt for Fergie following some information that she may have been in Ireland. And he's had a really interesting take on this in the Royalist Substack. He thinks actually she's got nothing to lose and that she is going to write the tell-all that blows the House of Windsor apart all over again. I mean, Tash, it feels inevitable, but the problem is when she does it, she has to spill in order to get that big advance money.
It's true. She's got to put something out there. She's got to put something sensational. She's got to put something in there that is going to have worldwide global news, people dissecting it, people talking about it. It's got to be truly sensational. And yeah, I mean, the easiest way to do it is to say things about, the royal family or Harry and Meghan, really. People still lap up anything to do with Harry and Meghan, I think, because there has been such a complete opposite of what the truth is and what people believe is the truth to Harry and Meghan's truth, which we know clearly isn't the truth. But yes, they say an injured animal is its most dangerous, and Fergie may well be feeling like that. But there's also a bit, as I said, I think I'm unsure because of it will be the final death blow. She will destroy any chances of her daughters ever if they can come out of this, obviously, this looming hole to do with their finances and their business arrangements and what they've been up to, but that will be the death blow for them completely. So it's whether she will risk that, whether she will risk her daughter's relationships as well. I do believe that there is a chance that if Beatrice and Eugenie can save their bacon, as it were, by distancing themselves from their mother, they will advise her not to do something as bad and as damaging as that.
The problem is, I just don't think that there is a way back now for Eugenie and Beatrice. I mean, the fact that William has actually banned them from being part of Royal Ascot this year, but also, I think more significantly, has told all senior royals not to be pictured with them at all over the course of the year, shows where he sees their future or lack of future within the British royal family. But I did want to talk about that, Tash, because it has been one of the big talking points of the week. And it was interesting to see Celia Walden. Now, she's a star columnist for the Daily Telegraph, but she is also Piers Morgan's wife. friends, I would say, with Beatrice and Eugenie. She didn't describe herself as friends with them in this new column, but I mean, she is. She admits that she's met them multiple times. And I would argue this is the start of a PR pushback for Beatrice and Eugenie. And I would say our community is quite split, actually, about whether to feel sorry for these two or not. So look, I really like Celia Walden. I thought that was a strong defense. I don't agree with everything that she said in there, but what did you think, Tash?
I mean, yes, I think it is a strong defense, and there's bits of it I do agree with. I mean, I have been really on the fence myself with these two, but I have read that, and I don't know how true it is, but Prince William has said to both princesses that they need to have a private audit of their finances. And apparently they refuse to do that. And that is to make sure that there is transparency on where they have been getting their money from with a lot of these deals to do in the Middle East. And the problem is with everything that Andrew got involved with all of these shady deals, we know that Beatrice was going with him as soon as she was old enough. We know that Eugenie and Beatrice spend a lot of time out there. And I think a lot of people are highly suspicious that they are no different to their parents, that they have been taking money. There was, stories that have come out that they have also given people access to the palace when they shouldn't, in private tours and things. So, I mean, it will all come out in the wash. As it stands at the moment, I haven't seen anything truly damaging other than the fact that they love their parents. But it depends. It depends what comes out. If that story is true, that they have refused to have a financial audit, that doesn't bode well. I know that Andrew Lowney has said that there is more information to come out about them. And so far, he said that about Andrew and Fergie. And every time he said that, he has been correct. But I can understand why Celia is defending them and what she said. As I said, part of it, yes, they shouldn't be tarred and feathered because of their parents. But I think there is a definite sign that they may not be completely innocent in everything that their parents have done. And because of that, Prince William does have to distance himself and the royal family from them.
That's the thing. I mean, I don't think they are completely innocent. And for me, it's all about that visit to Jeffrey Epstein just a couple of days after he was out of prison for child sex trafficking, and they were 19 and 21. And for me, that's on them. I know other people disagree. The other problem is, Tash, they should have to do that financial audit because there are potential new scandals just waiting there to be uncovered. I mean, look at this one that was revealed by the I newspaper this week, that Epstein's emails exposed a plan to drag Beatrice and Eugenie into Fergie's debt crisis. And basically, this was a new business venture that was designed to raise quick cash for Fergie in 2010, where Beatrice and Eugenie would have been used as the sort of name on the business. Of course, potentially that suggests they were tapping in or at least discussing tapping into their pool as royals. That's because Fergie at the time had £650,000 worth of debt. She was completely desperate, by the way, asking Epstein in such an embarrassing manner, "Oh, just $50,000 or $100,000, please," she said, "to help get me through the small bills that are pushing me over." I mean, he couldn't because he was literally in jail, Tash. And the problem is, even though there is no evidence that this business was set up, we need to know, don't we? And certainly William needs to know. He does need to know if there was any financial entanglement between the two princesses and Jeffrey Epstein and anyone else dodgy.
The thing is, it's all going to come out. And if they're refusing to have an audit done, it makes me think it's because they haven't basically got a clean whistle. And it will come out in the wash. All of it has unraveled for Andrew, and Prince William is not going to risk this coming out, affecting his father's health, making that worse. Catherine, he has to protect her. And then his son is now, at a very young age, gradually stepping into his role as a young prince who will then look at his role as being the future Prince of Wales. Prince William is not going to risk another Andrew and Fergie thing happening. As it is, I think he's worried and concerned about the damage that Harry and Meghan are going to continue to cause. And having Beatrice and Eugenie in the mix, that they've been allowed back into the family fold, and it turns out that they have been up to dodgy dealings and using their royal privileges and their titles in a manner, it's going to be too explosive. I don't think the monarchy will survive another hit like this if nothing has been done. I think the public now want transparency. They want transparency on all of them. And for Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, I think it's even more so because they were grown women. This isn't like something that happened when they were teenagers. You could forgive them that they weren't quite aware of mummies and daddies' friends and what they were really up to when they were children themselves. But they have grown up. They went to university. They're grown women. They would be very well aware of the charges that have been brought against Epstein, and yet they still chose to associate in those circles.
Tash, more bad news for all of the people that we've been speaking about, including the British royal family, with suggestions that Netflix is planning to bring back The Crown, not as a series, a full series, but instead with one-off specials which are devoted to particular royal scandals. And of course, top of the list, Tash, is the Andrew Mountbatten Windsor disaster. Now, I know it's just sometimes easy to dismiss The Crown, but the palace don't. They take it really seriously. And Charles, for a long time, was engaged in sort of warfare with Netflix because he felt like The Crown was presenting him so badly in terms of his marriage to Diana. And the problem is, for a lot of young people, Tash, who didn't actually live through the War of the Windsors, it was The Crown in which they sort of learned about what happened with Diana and Charles. So Charles's team would say, well, it wasn't accurate. Anyway, for a period, he boycotted Netflix. He didn't want to attend their events. And there was really a lot of back and forth going on. I reported about it quite a lot at the time. But obviously, after the decision to end The Crown, just before, I mean, I know we sort of saw William and Catherine, didn't we? But it never really came bang up to date. We never saw Meghan. And after that decision, Charles went right back in with Netflix. There's actually a special he's working on with Idris Elba, which will be released at some point in the next few months. But I would argue this is probably just going to be irresistible for Netflix because it was such a successful series. And obviously people do want to see a dramatization of what's been going down.
Yes, I mean, as soon as I saw that, I thought, well, of course they will. They're vultures. They're going to circle around this one. It would be quite a big episode. But much like them, if they do one-offs, I'm sure they will do Harry and Meghan and the Oprah thing next. But I can't see how they'd spin that one because you don't know, are they going to do the truth or Harry and Meghan's truth, which we know wasn't the actual truth. But when it comes to Andrew, I mean, yeah, of course they will. They've already done the reenactment of Andrew's, well, it wasn't The Crown that did it, but his BBC interview. And it's car crash TV and people love it. But unfortunately, I've met people that take The Crown as gospel, that believe the stories because they put just enough truth in for it to look valid, for people to see newspaper headlines and historical headlines and things and go, oh, that must have happened. But then they put in a lot more stuff to dramatize it. And that could potentially be disastrous again. For the royal family, I wouldn't say that it would damage them further. I mean, I don't think they can be damaged any further because of the Andrew scandal than what they already have been. But they've made it very clear that Andrew is out. He's gone. He's on his own. But of course, The Crown and the Netflix creators will circle around that. It's drama, and that's what people love.
To understand the story, we need to go back to Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew. The two, married in 1986, became one of the most recognizable royal couples of their generation and eventually divorced in 1996. But unlike many divorced couples, Fergie and Andrew remained remarkably close. They have continued to appear connected as a family, and that unusual relationship has generated years of public fascination. So when Fergie speaks about her experiences, people naturally pay attention. Fergie occupies a unique position. She's not simply a royal commentator. She was once married to a senior member of the royal family, She experienced royal life from the inside, endured intense media scrutiny, and ultimately remained connected to the institution even after her divorce. That gives her a perspective that very few people have. But firsthand experience doesn't automatically mean every claim surrounding her is true. That's an important distinction. Now we get to the big question: what exactly could Fergie reveal? There has been enormous speculation over the years about her marriage to Andrew, their divorce, and their continuing relationship. She could potentially discuss personal experiences, family dynamics, media pressure, or events that were never fully understood by the public. But unless Fergie herself has confirmed that she's preparing a major revelation, we shouldn't assume that a bombshell is coming. And we certainly shouldn't assume that whatever she says would necessarily involve Meghan. This is where the story takes a dramatic turn. Some narratives suggest Meghan could be concerned about what Fergie might reveal about the royal family. But let's be realistic. Fergie's story is primarily her own story. Her marriage to Andrew happened decades before Harry and Meghan's relationship with the royal family became a global controversy. There may be broader themes connecting their experiences, but that doesn't mean Fergie has some secret information that could directly damage Meghan. There's another important distinction. Fergie and Meghan entered the royal family under completely different circumstances. Fergie married Prince Andrew in the 1980s. Meghan married Prince Harry decades later, in an entirely different media environment. Fergie's experience involved one era of royal life. Meghan's experience involved another. So comparing the two women can be interesting, but it can also become misleading if we assume their stories are identical. Of course, there is one reason Andrew's name continues to generate enormous headlines. His reputation has been severely damaged by controversy surrounding his associations and conduct. That means any discussion involving Andrew is likely to attract intense scrutiny. Fergie has remained publicly supportive of him in various ways, despite their divorce. And that makes her position particularly unusual. She's someone who knows Andrew intimately, but she's also had decades to develop her own public identity. If Fergie did reveal significant new information about her experiences, the impact could extend beyond Andrew. Anything involving a former royal spouse can potentially reopen questions about how the institution handled difficult situations. That could generate another wave of media attention. But that still doesn't mean Meghan would automatically be affected. The connection would have to be demonstrated, not simply assumed. So why does Meghan's name keep getting pulled into stories like this? Because Harry and Meghan remain one of the biggest sources of debate surrounding the modern royal family. Almost every new royal revelation gets interpreted through the Sussex story. Supporters see Meghan and Harry as people who expose problems within the institution. Critics see them as people who intensified those problems by discussing private family matters publicly. That means any new royal controversy is quickly compared with their story. So is Meghan Markle really terrified about what Sarah Ferguson might reveal? We don't have enough evidence to make that claim as fact. Fergie certainly has a fascinating personal history with the royal family, and anything she chooses to discuss could attract significant attention. But we shouldn't turn the possibility of a revelation into proof that Meghan is worried. The more interesting question is whether Fergie actually has something new to say, and whether she chooses to say it publicly. Until then, the most responsible approach is simple. Watch the evidence, question the claims, and don't let the most dramatic word in a headline become the story itself. Could Sarah Ferguson's perspective reveal something genuinely important about life inside the royal family? And do you think Meghan Markle has any legitimate reason to be concerned? Or is this simply another sensational royal narrative?